Regular chat is great. You can ask questions, you can write captions, you can brainstorm ideas, you can summarize things, you can get feedback. And that's helpful, but after the last few weeks, I've been using something called Claude Cowork. And honestly, it's one of my favorite AI tools to use right now. I think Cowork is the bridge between regular AI chat and the agentic future everybody keeps talking about. And in this video, I want to give you 7 reasons why Claude Cowork has become one of my favorite AI tools to use right now. We're going to talk about files, projects, skills, connectors, schedules, dispatch, and how all of these start connecting to a bigger idea and becoming your second brain. And you're gonna wanna stay to the very end because reason number 7 is probably the one that made me realize that this is bigger than just an AI tool, where Cowork starts connecting to your actual frameworks, your actual brand, your actual workflows. The entire ecosystem starts getting built long term. So with that being said, here are the 7 reasons Claude Cowork has become one of my favorite AI tools right now. Reason number 1, files and folders change everything. One of the first things I love about Cowork is the way it works with files. This might sound simple, but it's a really big idea because when you're building real things, your work doesn't live in one message. It lives in folders, PDFs, docs, screenshots, scripts, notes, brand files, client files, CVS files, strategy docs, old ideas, new ideas. It all is a living organism. And with Cowork, you start giving Claude access to the right files, the right folders, so you can understand the actual environment you're working in. It gets to grow with you. Now, my advice is this: don't give it access to your whole computer day one. Start with one clean folder. Make the folder called something like Claude Cowork Test or AI Workspace or Client Project folder, and only put in there files that you actually want Claude to work with. That way you're not overwhelmed, you're not worried, you're not giving it access to random stuff. You're just saying, here's the project, work inside this box. And as you get more comfortable, you start expanding the scope. But even with that one thing, it's a game changer because now you're not just uploading things to a single chat and are limited to 20 files. Now the file space is unlimited. You're building a working environment. You're giving AI the room, the files, and the context it needs to actually help you move the project forward. Reason number 2, projects help AI remember the context. Another thing I love is projects. Projects are kind of like custom workspaces. The easiest way to explain it is this: a project is like a custom GPT built inside of Claude. You could give it instructions, you could upload documents, you could keep certain context tied to that specific project. So instead of starting every conversation from zero, you could jump into a project and Claude already has your foundational context. That's huge because one of the most frustrating things about AI is having to keep re-explaining yourself. Every new chat feels like, okay, here's who I am, here's my business, here's my audience, here's what I'm building, here's the tone, here's what I've already decided, here's what not to do. And after a while, that gets old fast. With projects, you start creating containers. So now you can have one project for Javier Torres Studios, one for Vintage Jesus Tees, one for Brand Brain, one for client, one for YouTube scripts, one for my content systems, and each one can now have its own context. That's where AI starts becoming less random and more useful because now it's not just pulling from whatever you said in one chat, it's working from the bigger picture. And that's what I'm realizing more and more. The better the context, the better the output. Reason number 3, skills are basically little SOPs. Now this is probably one of my favorite parts right now, and they're skills. The easiest way I can explain skills is skills are like SOPs for AI. That stands for standard operating procedures, or a recipe or instructions that AI follows. They're little repeatable instructions that help Claude to understand the type of work better. So instead of explaining the same process every time, you can build or use a skill that says, when I ask for this type of output, follow this process. That could be for writing design feedback, memory, optimization, research, content planning, file organization, brand strategy, whatever. And that's where things start getting crazy, because now it's not just write a caption. It's more like use my content skill, use my design review skill, use my brand voice skill, use my file cleanup skill, use my YouTube script skill. And that's why I think skills are such a big deal, because they help turn your thinking into a repeatable system. So that's what I'm really interested in. Not just using AI to get one answer, but using AI to build systems that get smarter over time. Because the goal with AI isn't just faster content or AI slop. The goal is better systems, better workflows, better thinking, better execution. And skills are one of the ways to start turning your process into something that AI can actually help you repeat. Reason number 4, connectors, MCPs, and CLIs are where things start expanding. Now, I don't want to get too technical here because that could be a whole video in and of itself, but I want to introduce you to the language, because you're going to start hearing a lot of words like connectors, MCPs, CLIs, APIs, and integrations. And all that could sound really confusing at first. So here's a simple version. Connectors help Claude connect to apps or services you already use. So instead of everything living in one chat box, Claude can start working with things like your documents, your workspace, your systems, your tools. It can even integrate with your Gmail and so many apps. MCPs are ways for tools and apps to give Claude access to outside capabilities. Think of it like a bridge. Claude is powerful by itself, but MCPs let it connect to more tools, more data, and more actions. And CLIs are more technical command line tools. That's usually where you're getting closer to the developer world: Claude Code, Claude Codex, Terminal, and more advanced workflows. But here's the important part. You don't need to understand all of this on day one. You just need to know that there's levels. Level 1 is chat. Level 2 is projects and files. Level 3 is Cowork, skills, connectors, and scheduled tasks. And after that, if you want to go deeper, you could start looking into Claude Code, Codex, MCPs, CLIs, and more advanced agents. But Cowork is a place where a lot of this starts to make sense, because you can feel it practically. You're actually getting work done. You can see how the tools start connecting. And for me, that's what makes a lot of this less intimidating. It's not just a theory anymore. It starts to become a real workflow. Reason number 5, schedules can turn Claude into your daily assistant. Another thing that's really cool is scheduled tasks. This means you can set up Claude to run certain tasks on a schedule. So instead of you manually asking for the same thing every morning, you can have Claude send you a report, a briefing, a summary, or some kind of update. For example, you could have it summarize your most important emails. You could have it create a daily business briefing. You could have it review your content calendar, and you could pull all that together into a morning focus report. You could have it remind you what projects need your attention. And for me, this is where it starts connecting to the bigger idea of a second brain. Because eventually, I don't just want AI to answer random questions. I want it to understand my entire ecosystem, what I'm building, what did I say last week, what projects are active, what needs to be moving forward, what ideas are coming up, what content should I be scheduling for my next project. That's when it starts becoming really powerful, because it's not just AI as a tool, it starts becoming AI as a rhythm, something that helps you stay aware, something that helps you stay organized, something that helps you keep momentum. And when you're building a lot at once, that matters. Reason number 6, dispatch. Another feature I've been playing with is dispatch. This is where it starts feeling even more like the future. You can have Claude open on your home computer, and then from your phone, you could send it work to do. Because most of my best ideas don't always happen when I'm sitting perfectly at my desk. They happen while I'm driving, grabbing a coffee, leaving church. So now, instead of only working when you're sitting at your desk, You can use the mobile app to send tasks back to your desktop environment. And that matters because your desktop is usually where your real files live. Your folders, your documents, your projects, your assets, your system. This is starting to become a partner that can help work inside the environment where the work actually happens. And if I could send the task back into the right environment with the right files inside the right context, that starts feeling like the beginning of real agentic work. Not fully autonomous, not AI, go run my life, but more like, here's the workspace, here's the context, help me move this forward. That's a big difference. Reason number 7, this is how you start building your second brain. Now, this is the big picture for me. Claude Cowork isn't just about one feature. It's about where all of this is headed. Because once you have the projects, the files, the folders, the skills, the connectors, the scheduled task, and dispatch, now you're not just using AI anymore. You're starting to build a second brain, a business partner, a system that understands your work. And for me, this is directly connected to what I'm building with Brand Brain. Brand Brain is my system for helping founders, creators, pastors, authors, and leaders stop getting generic AI outputs by creating one clear source document for their entire brand. Their voice, their audience, their message, their offer, their positioning, their content direction, their creative ecosystem. Because the truth is, AI doesn't fix unclear identity. It actually exposes it faster. So if your brand is unclear, AI will just give you generic content faster. But if you build the right source, if you build the right context, if you organize the right files, if you build the right skills, then AI starts becoming a lot more powerful. That's what I'm building towards. And Cowork feels like one of the first tools that actually makes this vision feel practical. If that sounds like something that you're interested in, I'm gonna leave a link to Brand Brain in the description for you to try out. It's the actual $3,000 in-depth system that I help walk brands through, and it's yours absolutely free for the first 100 people to test out the beta version. So take advantage right now because it's only gonna be free for a limited time. Or if you wanna find me on Instagram, comment on any of my posts, Brand Brain, and I'll send you a link. Cowork is where we connect the pieces, not just prompts, not just random chats, but actual systems. I'm talking about files, folders, context, memory, workflows, skills, assets, all of it. That's why reason number 7 was the biggest one for me, because this is where Cowork stops feeling like another AI app and it starts feeling like the beginning of an operating system that works for you. So that's why Claude Cowork is probably my favorite AI tool right now. Not because it's perfect, not because I understand every single feature yet, because it feels like the first version of what I thought AI could become. Something that doesn't just answer a question, but actually helps you build, helps you organize, helps you think, helps you create, helps you move work forward. I do have a few free codes in the description of this video for you to try Claude Cowork for free. There's only a few there, so get them while they last. Here's the thing, I don't want you to be afraid or overwhelmed. Start with one folder, start with one project, start with one task. That's it. And then little by little, you start seeing what's actually possible. If this helped you in any way, please do me a favor, like, comment, and subscribe. I'm gonna be breaking down a lot more of my AI workflows, how I'm building my Brand Brain system, how I use Claude, Chat, Codex, all these tools together, and how creators, pastors, founders, and leaders can actually use AI without losing their voice. Because the reality is, tools are changing fast, but your essence still matters. Your source still matters. Your clarity still matters. And the more clear you are, the more powerful these tools become. I love you guys. God bless you guys. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.